Good afternoon, folks. I'm doing a tribute to the late Myles Macinnis. He was a gentleman. It was a pleasure to know. And he was a cat man, and kitty cat wants to get in the picture. Myles loved kitty cats. So Myles would love you. In fact, Myles was here one day, and he met his kitty cat. Dean DeGushy told me one time, he said, cats and kids are great judge of character. Well, cats love Myles, and anybody that was decent loved Myles. He was a wonderful gentleman. And I was shocked to read in this morning's Halifax Herald that he died on Monday. It would have been Jefferson Davis' birthday, the 3rd day of June, President Jefferson Davis' birthday. And Myles was, where do I start? He was one of the most Christian, kind men I ever knew. Yes, a little bit gruff in exterior maybe, but he was a Christian, kind man. I read an obituary, he was a member of the volunteer fire department of Waikagam, I soon founding member with late Alcorn Monroe and many other fine folks in that beautiful community of Waikagam area, Cape Breton Island, God's country. And he was 14 years old when he joined. He had over 50 years of service. He was 82. Him and his wonderful wife, Evelyn, would have celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary on the 13th of this month, which is basically a week from today, because I'm recording on Thursday, the 6th day of June. And I remember he coming to the store one time, and he was so proud of his little grandson, okay, Ben. And I said, this is you and Evelyn's first grandkid. And he went like this, John, oh, God, no, he said. We got them from this big to 6 feet tall. And I didn't know that. I thought it was the first grandkid. It was Jennifer's first child, Ben. And Ben's just a wonderful, very, very enthusiastic, fine young, not a kid anymore, fine young man. And to his wonderful wife, Evelyn, I give my sincere condolences. You're a wonderful lady in your own right. To Annette, to your sister, Jennifer, and your brother, Jamie. And the many grandkids, great-grandkids, is too numerous, but I do mention Ben because Ben is almost like Myles and Evelyn's second son, and just an enthusiastic, fine young man. As a boy, I think he's going to be a railroad man, I think, one day. He said he spends time on a computer. Too much time on a computer, Myles said one day, if you ask me. But I was at the house one evening, and the cat come over and he called the cat, and the cat come in, purr, go up on Myles and sit in his lap and so on. Wonderful people, period. He's a son of Vi in the late, well, they're both gone now. Vi died just shy of her 100th birthday, and J.P. died somewhat earlier. J.P. Macinnis, the founder of J.P. Macinnis Trucking. Mr. McKeegan told me, he was great personal friends, Shirley and Ian, of Myles and Evelyn. He had tremendous ability to snap back. If stuff went bad, he snapped back. He was very resilient. And we all need that. Cape Bretoners are very resilient people. And so Myles' father was a very resilient gentleman. And his mother, Vi, she started a restaurant when the Trans-Canada Highway was being built through Waikagam back in the 50s. And in her porch, it became Vi's Restaurant, which is known island-wide. And it was bought out by the Rotary not that many years ago. And she was in the store. The fruit stand in Auld Cove Lobster Supper some years ago. We were having an evening bus tour for lobster supper. And Myles comes in with his mother. And everybody come out of the kitchen. Betty and her waitresses with her. And when they got her a chair of honor, and when Mrs. Vi Macinnis was in, it was just like Colonel Sanders was in. Everybody wanted to see this wonderful lady, who at that time I think was 98 years old. She was a remarkable lady in her own right. Let's say a prayer for Myles. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the power and the glory and the kingdom. Amen. And wonderful guy, personal friend of Alan J. He told me a story one night. Well, too late now, I'm putting the recording. He was raising money for Waikagam Arena, building for youth, the Waikagam Arena Athletic Commission. And he got to Alan J's, and Alan J was always supported greatly with his own funds. And the Lord Mayor of Glasgow, Scotland was over and visiting at Alan Jay's, and they had a bottle of Crown Royal, and Alan got out the checkbook and wrote out a generous donation for the Wycognaw Building for Youth Arena, and then he said, you wanted, and so anyway, they finished off the bottle of Crown, I shouldn't be saying this, but Crown Royal, and he says, I didn't make any more stops that evening, but Alan Jay had given a very generous donation to the, and so he was a wonderful man. He spoke his mind, you knew where you stood, he was a kind and good man. To conclude, the very much alive, and will be, I think, she's a kind, wonderful lady, and all right, she's going to live to 100 like her mother-in-law. Okay, and they take and late, the very much alive Evelyn Macinnis, now widow of Myles Curtis Macinnis. Those two people, those wonderful people, that couple, they represent the very best of Cape Breton Island. I'm going to repeat that. Myles and Evelyn Macinnis of Wycognaw represent the very best of Cape Breton Island. And I sincerely say, if there's finer people anywhere than Cape Bretoners, I sure as heck haven't met them yet. So the funeral is tomorrow at Dennis Tavistock Funeral Home in Wycognaw from 2 to 8, Friday to 7, and that's the wake tomorrow, 2 to 8. And the funeral mass I see here is on, a funeral service is on Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning, I believe. And not Friday, on Saturday. So the funeral, the wake will be tomorrow, Friday the 7th, from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. I misspoke for a second. 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the funeral mass will be Saturday, which will be the 8th of July at the United Church of Wycognaw. And they're wonderful people. So wish you all the best. God bless. Again to Jamie, your nephew Ben, and all the other grandkids, and Jennifer, and Annette, and your husbands and the wife and so on. And they take and Myles' wonderful widow Evelyn. You've suffered tremendous loss, but you can know with confidence Myles is in heaven now, in the presence of God for all eternity, with Vi and JP and other loved ones who have gone before them. All the best. God bless. Bye for now.